Great. So this is the first week on site here at the Spurstowe Unit 1, or the new layer for Diagonal A. So we discussed how we think that architects should expand their reach into society, and also the way they work. One of them is to invest and to make changes into the physical world in a more proactive way. So one way that we have found is to invest into our own office space. And of course, this is London, where a square meter costs between $1 billion and $1 trillion. So in order to do it, we devised a system where we work together with other like-minded practices and other people we like as people, as friends, or as collaborators, people to work with. And we created a new company where the shares are perfectly exchangeable, and there's mechanisms to make them as balanced as possible, and there's no profit between shareholders. And all together, we bought this space, and now we are starting the fit out. So now the installation is going down, and we're going to have a screed on top of this, and then we're going to add 2 different floors. And this is Davide, who is in charge of the project, the construction, management, everything. And these are incredible builders. They've already set up their floating shelf here with some tools. By next Monday, this will all be screeded. Sticky, damp, and concretey. But yeah, the project here is to have a meeting room around here, our kitchen around here, our one big WC, of course, for disabled, one WC, one smaller one, small meeting room over there, meeting area over there, actually, I should say, and three large desks here where up to 18 people can work. But we plan on keeping it down to 15. It's nice and bright, and we have double exposure here, so this is our little light well. And we're going to work to reduce the running costs and the CO2. There will be no gas. We'll have infrared heating, MVHR, mechanical ventilation with heat recovery. And we're going to the jumper if you're cold in the winter. Okay, end of week 2 today on site. We'll look a little bit into some decisions we've made, some which we already had made, and to show how they look like. So on one hand, we're going with very simple aluminum studs, and we're going to try and use them as much as possible, and to expose them as much as possible. So much so that this is the meeting room, and perhaps we're going to give them exposed. We'll see what the consequences are from a point of maintenance and those things. And second thing is all the systems. So we have conduits running into the screed, connecting to each of the main desks. And we also have electric points running through. And finally, we have this gray pipe going all around, partially into the screed. And this is to water our plants, to create little greenhouses. And we have 1, 2, and 3 points where we're going to have greenhouses. And even though we're lazy, but also that we like to be able to experiment with kind of precise growth of plants, we're going to put an irrigation system. And this is something we do also in our residential projects often. We have a place where one day you can have a little greenhouse, a little indoor garden. So same here, except that there's 3. And so when we have to decide about screening from heat or too much sunlight, we have this additional option, as well as, of course, a beautiful interior garden. I think that's it. Next week we're going to look into the heating, the heat recovery, the ventilation system with heat recovery. The heating will be infrared, and the ventilation with heat recovery will help not waste a lot of that heat. heat. And of course there is no gas. So we're connecting, we're also making sure we don't have a gas, an electric meter in place from day one.
No more gas. No more gas.
Okay, I think next week is going to be exciting too. So it's been a while since our last update. Gary moved to Malaysia. We didn't have a video maker, so we had a short course. We've moved in at the office, and we had kind of survived quite well for a month or so. But now it's all a mess again because we are doing a final bit of joinery. Today I'd like to talk about how we planned from the beginning to reuse all the joinery we had at the former office, which was mainly 5 bookshelves and 3 big desks that we had designed and built at the time. So the bookshelves were very, very old. We inherited those from DeDraft, and they've become all sorts of bits of joinery here around the printer where we're storing things. All the areas are a bit less visible. And then other pieces of joinery, those joineries are here in the kitchen. We've clad some of the walls in the meeting room. And finally the desks have become sliding doors. So you can see them here. These are the old holds for the cables. And again over here. So from the outset we kind of designed these doors to fit our new design. And by the way, these are our incredible juniors, Mario and Antonio. They speak Neapolitan, which for me is the language of artisanry and ability. And this is the last edition, a standing desk, all made from our old desks. And Jamie here is the author. You can discuss it. Yeah.
Yes, so it was great. So I was sat here designing away on other projects, and then worked with these 2 wonderful joiners, and so we had offcuts from, I believe it's from the old desk.
This is the desk, yeah.
This might have been my desk, this might have been your desk,
yeah.
Thomas's desk, and we thought, well, we can reuse this, and so within about 3 hours I had this designed in Revit, sketched out, handed around the office, and Mario and Antonio.
6 hours this was built.
6 hours built in. So,
so we always wanted a standing desk, but we didn't have a design, and so yeah, this happened in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things of being.
It was great.
One of the best experiences for an architect who usually waits 3 years or a year and a half to see.
And it's quite nice if you miss a dimension, you quickly turn around and go, oh,
yeah.
is that the right dimension?
Anyway, standing desks now facing the street. There it is on the other side. Mr. Working, clearly working. Yeah. And we'll be back with more updates on how the office works soon.